Now we will talk about transport, different methods and so on. And when you get a quotation from your factory or whoever is handling your order, or if you are just from a wholesaler, so when you go to price, you need to understand which type of transport you are ordering. There are two variables. One is the from where, what's included in the transport, and the other is how it's transported. So we'll start with the first one. Different methods. What is called and classified as, and these terms are primarily used when doing international shipping, but it's also has its similarities in the domestic or within the economic zone like European Union and so on. And the first lowest level is the ex-factory. It means you have got a price where the factory is producing your items and packing them and putting them in the factory, in the storage there. And then it's up to you to pick them up from the factory and get them home to your place. Now, normally you don't do it yourself, but you use a shipping agent who will handle the goods like that. And you can use a shipping agent near to the factory or the exporter, or you can use someone at your end. Depends which is the better. It can be different from case to case. It's called ex-factory. The second is called FOB, free on board. And what it means is that if you're, let's say you are going to have a delivery by air, then it's transported and put on the aircraft. Or if by ship, then the price includes that it will be brought to the ship and put in the ship, free on board. But then from there you take over until the goods arrive to you. Normally with the help of a shipping agent, but that's how it is. Then we have the CNF and CIF. This means that the goods is transported to a port or an airport near to you. Well, it might not be very near because maybe you are not near to any one of them, but the nearest or whatever you have selected, airport or seaport or port anyway, which are near to you, where it can be then offloaded from the aircraft or the ship. And from there you take it. That was it. The difference with the M sign and the I sign is if it's excluding or including the insurance for the transport. Sometimes to insure transport from the shipping side, it has the advantage that it costs a bit less than if you do it from your side, but normally it's a bit easier to get a claim pass if it's done from your side rather than the other side, but there can be different issues. Just understand it and then you decide. Finally, you have that the things will go all the way. That means that it will be shipped to you, including the custom clearance, if any, and transported to your doorstep. Otherwise, it's also how it's shipped to you. The first type and the most normal type is cargo. Now, cargo then differs in air cargo and surface cargo. Air cargo means that it goes an airplane, transport airplane, or inside the airplane with the passengers also, or as a special aircraft, so only take cargo. Or surface, that can be truck, train, ships, whatever. In some cases there can be a combination also, that it is sent by air from near the factory to some place not too far from you, and then from there it becomes a surface transport. But normally you talk about these two variants. The third variant is the courier. Now, to use a courier, you use that if it's something expensive, valuable normally, because it's a bit safer. Let's say you order jewelry, you prefer to have it there, but also make sure it's insured. And another such variant is by postal, much less secure, take longer time, but it's a possibility that most companies don't use much of, but it could be. Now, if you use courier or postal, the difference is that they normally handle the import handling and you pay to them for that. So you have to select which transport methods you want, what offer. You have to also understand if one factory gives you a price, ex-factory price, and another gives you CIF, for instance, then it's a big difference, because in one case you have to transport inside and include that. And if someone is sending by air or they are sending it by ship, it will also make a big difference. You have to understand what options are they giving me. How long time does the delivery take? These are the questions you need to ask in these cases. And just to mention something about the price on this difference between flight and surface transport. Surface transport is normally less, but on ships, for instance, there are some offload fees normally, and if you have that, I have seen that, for example, to Europe from India, it's cheaper many times if you have a small order to take it by air than take it by ship, by sea. Whereas if you go up by bigger quantities, it becomes definitely more advantage to take it by surface. But it also depends on the circumstances which one you choose. I have seen, for instance, people buying, with my help, for the printing machines, and they're taking it by air, which is double cost to the taking the same machine by the boat. So why did they take it by air? Because they saved 1 month to 1.5 months time when it would be installed until there, and they would earn more money on that machine during this 1.5 months than the money they would save on the transport. So there are different aspects to everything. It's also like, how fast do you need the goods? And so on. So all the things, look at it, think of it, evaluate it, and plan your thing. On our webpage, you are finding the questions that are related to this film. So go to our webpage to see the questions you should answer.